Hello there, Straight Veg here, again. Hope you're doing good and well. This is kind of the follow-up to my most recent video, which was an update on my fitness stuff. By the way, thank you for the warm welcome back. Y'all are very kind. I appreciate it. Today's going to be an overall life update. So if my personal life does not interest you, that's fine. Just keep the video rolling in the background so your boy can be a YouTube partner again. And if it does interest you, here we go. It's been about 4 years since I was remotely active online, and we all know how much life can change and how much the world has changed in the last 4 years. So I'll try to be concise, and I want to preface my personal life update with this. There's always more important things going on in the world, and talking about myself feels ridiculous. I'm not trying to make a political statement right now because these days it seems like practically everyone has chosen the hill that they are going to die on, and I don't want to waste my time or energy on internet fights or echo chambers. In addition to all that, I've always struggled with a lack of self-worth, which makes it hard for me to think that I deserve to occupy anyone's time or attention, whether it's online or in person. I also don't really enjoy being the center of attention, which I know is ironic as a musician and YouTuber and muscle guy on the internet. It's just not really my thing. So yeah, all of these factors and many more, which we'll probably get into, have made it really hard for me to want to put myself out there, but I'm still working on it, and I want to thank you guys for being a part of that. Okay, life updates. First, I moved to Washington. There's a lot that went into that decision, but ultimately kind of got priced out of Long Beach. Had a couple friends up here, and it was closer to Canada, where my wife at the time is from. We'll get there. We'll get there. Basically, as soon as I got to Washington, I started streaming on Twitch, which is something I'd wanted to do for a very long time. And I actually dabbled in anonymously for like a couple years prior. But when I got up to Washington, I was finally motivated enough to do that. I still stream over there. So if you're a nerd or a hardcore gamer, links in the description. It's honestly been my main form of socializing since I got here. It's one of the biggest parts of my life. And I just want to give a special thank you to the Narcade. I love you guys. For a good amount of that first year here in Washington, my life was just working with Finn McKenty on his Twitch and YouTube stuff, hanging out with my wife at the time, and streaming a few times a week to a few homies for fun. Eventually, things did change when my wife decided that she wanted to try this Italian thing called divorce. For real though, that's just how these things go sometimes. It's fine. We're both better off for it. We're still homies. I babysit her dog, and I love that thing with all my heart. Shout out, baby. And I need to say this is nobody's fault but my own, all right? After we split up, I became insanely isolated out here. I'm an introvert, and I have social anxiety, and I was working from home. I did have a couple friends around, and my neighbors were really cool, but it was a very lonely time. Even to this day, I'll sometimes go like a whole week without face-to-face human conversation, except for when I go to the grocery store or something. So for a couple years, I kind of went on autopilot, just working and streaming. Occasionally, I would have like a friend come over, or I would go travel to see family for the holidays. But for the most part, I was just working and streaming here alone. Those years were kind of just a blur of work and play, and neither of which felt particularly great or awful, you know? I was kind of just going through the motions. That time for me was also what some people might consider monk mode, just lots of journaling, meditating, working on myself, still doing all those things, but that's where I was like really diving into it. One big highlight from that time was I bought land. It's always been a dream of mine to own land and build my own house on it, and that was a huge step. But I'm still so incredibly far from building anything on it. And I borrowed a lot of money in order to get it. And that was fine until I lost my job. As I mentioned earlier, I was working with Finn for a few years. I'm actually the one who brought him over to Twitch and started the Discord, did all the second channel videos, thumbnails, emotes, graphics, all that fun stuff. Now I know there are a lot of opinions about Finn. Some of you guys actually found me through the stream and his channel. What's up? But yeah, we're different people. I really enjoyed the work that I was doing on the channel. It was seriously the best job I've ever had. But yeah, after a few years of working together, Finn retired from Twitch and YouTube almost effective immediately. The whole story of how all of that went is pretty complicated, but to sum it all up, Finn was just done. And I'm not trying to burn any bridges. If you happen to be watching this, I miss you, dude. I hope you're all right. I hope the family's all right. Yeah. Yeah, losing the job was awful. And it's been about a year now, and I still haven't gotten consistent work. I haven't even heard back from any job applications, but I've gotten hundreds of scam texts and emails. So you, Indeed. I've done some odd jobs for my neighbors here and there, some handyman stuff and babysitting. But over the last year, I've completely drained my bank account. I've gathered some sizable credit card debt, just paying for groceries and utilities. And I've borrowed money from family members to cover rent. So yeah, over the last year, I've kind of been spiraling quite a bit, and also spiraling on some business ideas and ways out of this. Honestly, they're solid ideas, and I really do believe in them, but pretty much all of them require teams of people and a lot of startup resources that I just don't have. Throughout my whole life, I've struggled with ADHD and potentially OCD and the anxiety that comes along with those. But the last year in particular was challenging. There's also this lack of meaning and purpose that came with losing my job. And everything has just felt harder since, even working out, doing dishes, all that kind of stuff. Like for the past year, taking care of myself has felt like a full-time job. But the last year wasn't all bad. In fact, some of it was as good as it gets. I have the most amazing partner now, and she has been a saint through all of this. Again, trying to be concise, but we met through twitch.television. She actually rated me from the vegan tag. We were really good friends for quite a while and even had a couple friendly hangouts in that time. And eventually we decided to take the next step, and I couldn't be happier. She's also a huge part of me putting myself out there again. She just believes in me and supports me like nobody else ever has. And I'm the luckiest guy in the world to have her in my corner. So that basically brings us to now. And we're moving in together. And she has a big girl job and I'm unemployable. So she just wants me to focus on me and working on my projects and trying to get my debt paid off and making her food. Now, moving is certainly going to be a process, and I'm terrified. I hate moving. I've lived here longer than anywhere else since my childhood home, and in between was a mess of sleeping in my car, friends' couches, the floor. I had an RV for a while, moved to Canada, moved back in with family, moved with family, moved in with family again. Got my own place in Long Beach, moved to Washington, got this place like a month later, and it was just a mess. After going through all of that, I never fully unpacked here. I never even hung anything on the walls because I was dreading the patchwork that I would have to do. And then a few years flew by, and now I'm moving again. It's also expensive, which I'm not looking forward to. And I'm moving further away from the land physically, which also feels like I'm metaphorically moving further from that goal of building on it. There's also a lot to process with moving, like emotionally, and just thinking about everything that I thought I would accomplish here and didn't. So yeah, I'm not 100% stoked to be moving, but I am absolutely 100% excited to live with my partner. And I'm so unbelievably grateful for this opportunity that she is giving me to chase my dreams. This means doing YouTube again, both as a means of, occupying my time and connecting with you guys. And also, if there's anything that I learned from Finn, it's get the bag, and there is internet money to be made. It feels awful to even mention that. It's never been the goal of this channel. It's still not the goal of this channel. And I promise I won't be making any content just for the money, but it certainly wouldn't hurt to have some income. Aside from YouTube, the main thing that I want to get back to is my ultimate passion, which is music. My main project, Warm Hugs, is my baby, and I've written the next 2 albums over the last 8 years or so, and I cannot get myself to finish them. Guys, album 2 is fully written and drafted. I've had the album art and the titles for both of these records forever. I'm having a really hard time getting these songs to sound how I know they can and how they sound in my head. and I obviously can't afford to have them worked on professionally. Also, my channel strip is broken and I have no idea how to fix it, and I don't want to get scammed. So if anyone here happens to know about analog gear, hit me up. Straight up, all these songs slap. I think they're all better than the first record that's out there. And I really want you guys to hear them, but not until they sound how they're supposed to. So yeah, that's the plan right now. Moving, straight veg, warm hugs. I'm still streaming and I'm working on another thing behind the scenes, but time will tell. Honestly, this is kind of embarrassing in a lot of ways. Feel like a failure. I'm nearly 28 and I'm trying to do the same shit that I wanted to do when I was a kid, but I'm also very grateful to be doing this now. I've grown a lot and I have a lot of love and support from the people in my life and from you guys. And it just feels right. I'm still terrified to put myself out there. And I hate the idea of making it. But when you're like me and you've never been able to do things the conventional way and there's never really been a clear-cut path for you, you literally have to make it. I'm absolutely not after fame or fortune. Anyone who knows me knows that. I'm just trying to do the things that feel right in my soul and share them with anyone who cares, whether it's music or YouTube videos or anything else. That's the goal. So yeah, that's what I've been up to, what I'm up to, what I'll be up to. If you made it this far, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for being one of those people who cares and supports me. It literally means the world to me. I don't think I'll ever be able to fully express the gratitude that I have for y'all. So just thanks again for being in my corner. If you happen to not be subscribed, maybe consider that. Stay tuned, see where all of this goes. Follow me on Instagram. I'm going to try to be more active on there for you guys. Like the video, comment for engagement, eat your vegetables, all that fun stuff. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate your support. Go veg. We'll get there. We'll get there.